But there's things that really piss me off about Aaron, and one of those is that he is just really hypocritical. It just really bothers me. I mean, we all are to some degree, right? Not everybody is, perfectly aligned. Some things vary, and so yeah, everybody's a little bit hypocritical. But Aaron, it really bugs me. So let's go through like a timeline, a sequence of events here of the offseason of the New York Jets. The first story that I hear is, well, Aaron comes out in the media, not calling anybody out, but basically sending a message to the team and saying that we need to focus on football. And I think he used the phrase that any other BS, can get out of the locker room, basically. So I don't know if he was sending a direct message to somebody. If he was, I'm guessing they got it. Yeah, that's okay. Fine, good. You're a leader. Cool. Second story. Aaron goes on a couple podcasts, talks about what some would call conspiracies. Again, I think I actually agree with some of it. Again, some of it's a little bit out there. But the point being, it's not football related, right? I'm not saying you can't have a life. I'm not saying you can't go on podcasts, but it's like, I'm thinking the top couple quarterbacks. Like I don't hear Mahomes on a podcast with anybody for that matter. Josh Allen, has he done any appearances? I don't know. But Aaron, of course, went on a bunch of them. Third story, Robert Saleh has to answer for him at the podium and says that, him not being there was an inexcused absence, but he was there for an event. He was not there because he was going to an event. It was, again, not excused, but it was understood and it was discussed between him and Aaron. Okay, that's the third story. And the fourth story is that Aaron he was rumored to be at a retreat doing some drugs. Very similar to the ayahuasca trip that he took last year. So look, again, he can have a life outside of football. That's fine. That's not the end of the world. I don't need my quarterbacks to be perfect. But when you snap your Achilles 4 plays into the season last year, and it is a huge disappointment for the season, I'm not saying it's your fault that you got hurt. But it is a massive disappointment for the franchise and a massive disappointment from the city. And you're on a damn near new team, right, with minimal talent, a bad offensive line, an even worse offensive coordinator, a head coach that has a losing record, and in New York with that media. I think anything helps. I think being there for any single day helps. And just being quiet enough and being focused enough to just tone down the noise, right? I use that phrase a lot. It just feels noisy. New York is too noisy, both the city and the franchise. And it's not going to bode well for them going into the season. What if they start 500 or worse for the first 6-7 games of the year? What if they're not in a playoff spot come, I don't know, week 13, right, where every game is amplified? That is a pressure cooker waiting to happen. And these are human beings. I know we could say, well, look, Aaron's been in the league. He'll be fine. These guys are pros. Yes, they are pros, but they're also human beings. That pressure matters. That pressure matters. Again, I still think they're going to be fine. I think they're somewhere around 500. I think they'll be competitive for a wild card spot, but in the loaded AFC, I'll predict them to miss the playoffs. But this team is nowhere near a true contender. Nowhere near it. And this story, this offseason, and last, has completely embodied the Jets franchise. It's a little bit of a joke. It feels like the Lakers of the NFL, right? Big star, but it's really inconsistent. The ownership is kind of sketchy. Yeah, look, LeBron is fantastic at basketball, but he's got productions and he's in movies and commercials. Look, he brings it when he's on the floor. Aaron has yet to show that. Again, he was hurt 4 plays in. But it just feels like a little bit of a barnyard musical, and I just don't think that can win, especially in New York, in the AFC, in that division. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's a leadership thing to me. Do you want your quarterback to be the leader of the team or not? And that's what it comes down to. This isn't a decision that was made from any point of leadership by Aaron. The thing that we have to do is put it into perspective. It's tough to relate something that's happening in the National Football League to somebody's normal everyday life. But think about it at your own job. You have a big project rolling out. You have something coming that, it's huge for the company. It's a big event. You have to be there. It's the start of it.
Sure.
You show up.
It's a big conference or something.
And where's the number 1 guy on your team? Where's he at? Is he there? Oh, no, he's off doing drugs.
Sure.
He's on vacation doing drugs.
There's also a part
this
of
doesn't
me
matter
that's
to you then. That's what that tells me.
Sure.
It doesn't matter to you.
There's also a part of me that's very why is sports the only profession in the world where it's just we're just going to not show up pretty often just not show up for mandatory things and it to kind of like be okay. Because in my eyes, it's like, aren't you paid to show up? Like, isn't that kind of why you get paid?
You signed a contract.
Like, I'm a little bit confused. Like, you get paid to go to work.
If you don't show up to work, what happens?
We get fired eventually.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you do that enough times, like you just get fired. Yeah. I don't know. It confuses me. It's just the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way.
Maybe use some PTO. Do they have PTO? I don't know.
Probably.
You think so?
I would assume so. Yeah.
I would say probably not. Maybe not like, traditional PTO.
Yeah. It's probably on
I don't know.
a different accrual basis. Probably.
Either way, the quarterbacks that we all love, I feel like it's really quiet. Like, I haven't heard a thing about Mahomes this offseason. Not one.
When you said it,
I haven't even seen a picture of him.
I don't think I've seen Josh Allen outside of his Bills uniform ever.
Yeah, haven't seen anything about Josh Allen. Maybe I'm not looking enough, but like I shouldn't have to look. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a problem, I'll see it, and I've seen Aaron's name about 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen Lamar. Well, I guess Lamar missed the one day and got fined for it, but yeah,
it's noisy.
It is noisy. It is.
We don't like noise.
No.